On the outskirts of the village, there was a small farm where a weak farmer named John Smith always worked hard. He had a son named Ethan, who never liked to work. Ethan always preferred to sit at home and relax. One morning, when John was working in his field, Ethan woke up and slowly came outside. He saw how hard his father was working. John saw Ethan and said, "Son, come and work with me today. There is a lot of work in the fields, and I need your help." But Ethan replied, "Dad, I want to rest a little more. I will come later." Disappointed, John continued working. After working all day, John got tired. When he returned home in the evening, he found Ethan sleeping at home. John woke him up and said, "Son, you need to learn to work. Sitting at home and resting is not good for you." But Ethan said, "Dad, I don't like working. I prefer to rest." John fell silent, feeling disheartened. One day while John was working in the field, an elderly man from the village came to meet him. The elderly man said, "John, I have heard about your son's lazy habits. Can't you motivate him to work?" John replied, "Yes, I have asked him many times to work, but he always makes excuses." The elderly man said, "John, explain to him how important it is to work. Teach him how laziness can harm him." John said, "All right, I will try to explain it to him." He bid farewell to the elderly man and returned home. Ethan's lazy habits were now causing deep concern for his father, John. Ethan often spent time with his friends and remained busy playing, while his father worked hard in the fields. John repeatedly asked Ethan to help in the fields, but Ethan always made some excuse. One day, John said to Ethan, "Son, help in the fields. Look, the crops are growing well and we will have plenty to sell." But Ethan replied, "Dad, I am tired. You do the work yourself." John said, "Ethan, I need your help. If we can't save the crops from being ruined, our family will face difficulties." But Ethan refused to listen and went off to play with his friends again. John was very disappointed. He knew that Ethan's lazy habits could affect the future of their family. He kept trying to explain to Ethan, but Ethan always ignored his words. One day, a sudden drought struck the village. Gradually, the crops in the fields began to dry up, and worry spread across the farmers' faces. John, troubled, went to Ethan and said, "Ethan, look, our crops are starting to get ruined. We need to work immediately or our family will face trouble." But once again, Ethan refused to listen. He was busy playing with his friends and didn't care about his father's concerns. One day, when John fell very ill, Ethan had no choice but to work in the fields. He was nervous because he had never done so much work before. But then he remembered his father's advice. "Son, success comes only through hard work." Remembering this, Ethan went to the fields and started working. At first, he faced a lot of difficulties. His hands began to hurt and he got tired. But he didn't want to give up. He motivated himself and continued working. Gradually, the results of his hard work began to show. He noticed that the crops were improving and the fields were getting cleaner. One day, while Ethan was working in the field, his father John came out. John was very happy to see his son working hard. He said to Ethan, "Son, I am very happy to see your hard work. You have started working by listening to me. I know it must have been difficult for you at first, but now the fruits of your labor are showing." Ethan felt very good after hearing his father's words. He now understood that success comes only through hard work. He apologized to his father and said, "Dad, I didn't listen to you and remained immersed in laziness, but now I understand that you were right. Only through hard work can we achieve our goals." John hugged Ethan and said, "Son, I am very happy with this change in you. You have left your laziness behind and started working hard. Now your crops are growing well and happiness has returned to the village. I know this success is the result of your hard work." Ethan listened carefully to his father's words and reflected on them. He now understood that no one can succeed without hard work. He continued working in the fields, leaving his laziness behind, and gradually the fruits of his labor became evident. The villagers were also impressed by Ethan's hard work and success. They began praising him, saying, "Look, Ethan has changed his habits and has now become a successful farmer. His hard work is paying off." One day, the village headman came to Ethan and said, "Ethan, you have brought a very positive change in your life. We have all witnessed your hard work and responsibility. You have taught us how a person can bring positive changes in their life." Ethan reflected on the headman's words and expressed his gratitude. He now understood how much harm laziness could cause and how important hard work was. He vowed to always remember his father's words so that he could progress further in life. In this way, Ethan's story became a successful journey where he left his laziness behind and started working hard. This story teaches us how a person can bring positive changes in their life and achieve their goals.